Episode 3 of No Strokes. We haven't been canceled yet. Venmo Joe, I have to tell you before we jump into this potentially breaking news, that there could be breaking news, that there might be a big announcement, that there isn't one. Last night, I set up all of my picks. Yes, I use Robinhood and prediction markets. I'm sorry. All my picks for RBC, which we're going to go into on this show. I cannot wait to share them with you. But we have so much to cover this week. Should have been, and it was for us yesterday with our guy Remick, a recap of the Masters, and it was a, in my opinion, a phenomenal event. It always is, but like it was a great round. The whole thing was great. Unfortunately, the only conversations that have been coming up is CBS and Kisner and all this stuff. So we're going to get into that. But I want to start the show off with the LIV thing. And I only say this, Joe, to you because we started off this podcast, the very first episode, talking about the drama and golf and all these really cool and fun things going on. And LIV is sort of like kind of a dead issue. It doesn't matter. So I almost feel like I'm wasting my time, even wasting time on this show talking about it. But yet it's not totally dead. And there's this announcement that's coming up. There's a bunch of tweets that are flying around golf Twitter, if you haven't caught on to it yet, that they might be done. And if you looked at, Sergio Garcia always looks like a whiny prick, but he was particularly contemporous this weekend. Bryson is out of it. Rahm is out of it. All these dudes were out of it. They've had an emergency meeting. They're in Florida, same time as RBC. And there's not really anything going on, and no one kind of knows. And now they announce there's this big announcement coming up. What we do know is that they've been hemorrhaging money. They've lost all of their talent, basically who need to want to go to the tour. Bryson, in my opinion, he doesn't count because they're going to write him the biggest check, but also he is now, in my opinion, also a YouTube star. So he's like on a different universe. He doesn't need the tour the way the rest of them do. And Dustin Johnson's checked the fuck out. He's just going to go to majors, and look, he's married to Paulina Gretzky, so like,
he's doing just fine.
Who's here to blame the man? And in general, there's a couple of guys still floating around in there, but I would argue that they're literally what we talk about when we say horses for courses. They're guys who show up to a handful of tournaments they do well at, and the rest is kind of a joke. And so I ask you, is LIV dead? What are you expecting out of this announcement? What is the point even of them continuing?
Here's my conspiracy, Scott.
Let's have it.
We talked about it yesterday, how disappointing the Masters was for the LIV golfers, save Hatton, who was tied for third. Are they just creating noise to distract from the fact that their biggest stars fell flat on their face at the Masters? Like, hey, they're in the news cycle for something different. Like, it's almost like they're searching for storylines, because the first couple of years of LIV, why it got everyone's attention was like it finally introduced free agency to golf. Right, so you had like the buzz of the NBA trade deadline, or what the NFL gets, or what Major League Baseball gets. It's like LIV created that in professional golf for a couple of years, where it was always like, hey, is there a big name that's all of a sudden going to defect and go to LIV? That's dried up, right? This last offseason, there was like no marquee signings. Like, they are clearly like,
no, it's done.
Grasping at straws. So who knows what this emergency New York meeting is, but like it's finally getting LIV to have some more buzz, where like there's this excitement of, hey, what's this massive news drop? And it might be that they're folding up. It might be that they're coming out with some bullshit announcement to distract from the fact that Rahm and Bryson were absolute no-shows at Augusta. Who knows? It's not a good look. The fact that their players are in Mexico, their tee times have been released for tomorrow, but like there's this cloud hanging over the guys on whether or not the tour
doesn't sound like there's a tournament.
Yeah, like, are they gonna play? It's just it's a bad look all the way around. And to your earlier point, they just don't have the star power, right? Like, they've lost Koepka, they've lost Reed. Cam Smith was this big acquisition that they made, and like they signed Cam Smith when he came off of winning the Players and outdueling Rory.
And how has he done lately?
He's terrible, right? He's
not even the same player anymore.
He's completely lost his game. Bryson has that outlet that you highlighted. Like, he's all focused. Bryson himself is a brand. Bryson does not need LIV to be a brand. He is a brand on his own. And then John Rahm, LIV's not worked for him, right? Because if
No.
what he's
And
doing
he said as much, and then he kind of walks it back because
yeah,
he feels bad or
he's
whatever,
got
and
it
he's an
because
honorable dude.
he's under contract there, so he has to walk it out. But like he's given us some crumbs to tell that he's not happy, and clearly the structure that they've got on LIV, where they're playing these resort courses with not nearly the same level of pressure that you see on the PGA Tour day in and day out. That
I don't know, man. Bolingbrook Golf Club here in Chicago is
dude, that's
gangsta.
not even a top. That's not even a top 20 course in Illinois, and the fact that that was
That's
like
you obviously have not gone on golf now and tried to book a tee time for 375.
that's crazy.
It's
But
insane.
like the reps that Rahm is getting on LIV are not translating to the 4 biggest tournaments of the calendar year, and that's got to be frustrating for him. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that. It'll be exciting to see if they do fold up, what happens to those guys that still have a lot of golf to play because
Hey, just walk back. I think this thing is done. I'm gonna pull this out of the one of our very first golf segments you did on my show a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it is now. And I think I called this truly. If LIV, the idea was there. The idea was good. You see other leagues trying to compete when you see the growth that golf has had. There's clearly room for multiple things. TGL, while it is PGA Tour related, it is showing. I'm gonna keep pushing TGL until people literally tell me I can't do it anymore. It just shows that there's interest.
I think
I do
TGL's
too. It's like that. It's like Thursday night football used to be. It gives you that extra day that you're like, oh shit, didn't know I needed that. Now I do. Now I can't live without it. LIV had an opportunity. You know where they screwed up? LIV should have taken on the senior tour. LIV should have gone and gotten every single guy who's 1 or 2 years away from qualifying for the senior tour, the Phil Mickelsons and all those guys, and said, I want you. I want you, I want you, I want you. We're going to create a fun product because the problem, and obviously Tiger shows up and if he's whatever, whatever. If he ends up playing in the senior tour, it will get attention because it's Tiger and you want to see him play and he maybe gets to ride in a cart or whatever. But senior tour to me just looks like it's like the dads when we go to the country club. It's like, God damn, I remember when you used to be a man and now it's like this crippled old fucker who like can't even get around. That to me is a senior tour. It's not exciting. I'm not turning it on. I would though, if they were like, we're going to take, Bernhard Langer, we're going to put him in a fun course where he still can use his Bernhard Langer brain and skills and hands and such and put him against, young, weird, just make something fun out of it. That was their opportunity. And instead they tried to poach the best. They whitewashed PGA. They bought all these guys. And immediately it was like, well, they're on streaming on YouTube, but then they're on WGN TV. And then it's like, what the fuck? And there's no one there. Like the best thing that has happened to LIV is Anthony Kim. That's the best thing and also great for him. But it is the best thing that has happened. And so when that thing folds, which in my opinion, you're going to do now.
Think about Anthony Kim and you're absolutely right. But like that, they caught lightning in a bottle there, right? Because that was at Adelaide, right? That's like their famous. That's like one of the tournaments that they've actually gained some traction on. They had him dueling against their 2 superstars, Rahm and Bryson. The problem is, one, it happened overnight when everyone was sleeping, and like, if you get that recipe where like, if they were in a lab and they're like, hey, what pieces do we need in order to create like a really compelling storyline? They got it, but that momentum didn't translate to anything like to the rest of their schedule. The other issue they've had is they went into teams. The teams thing never took off, right? Like teams work when there's
golf's a team sport in college. It doesn't really Ryder Cup once in a while. It doesn't work every day.
It didn't take off, and then they really leaned into the consumers thinking that we really care about like brand deals that they were getting, right? Because they actually published like a TV series or a YouTube series. It was like, trying to get behind the scenes on what's going on in LIV Golf, and they focused a ton on, well, hey, John Rahm has got this partnership now with Callaway, and Bryson's got this partnership with Reebok. I don't care about that. I care about like the drama on the golf course and like what the storylines are on the actual tour. I don't care if Rahm or Bryson is getting more rich because they've now gotten a partnership, and LIV, I think, was leveraging that to be like, hey, if these big companies are buying into LIV, like this makes it seem like we're reputable, like the model's working. The model didn't work. It didn't.
No, it didn't work. And it is funny. All the people who said it, and again, I'm not getting political, all the people who said it's a whitewash and this is all it really is, it actually clearly wasn't, because they have really tried to like make a go of it. And the fact that it's important enough that they're firing and pushing Greg Norman out, and they're not just like, hey, screw it, we're just going to end this, turn the lights off, because they have the money. If they don't give a shit about any of the money that's been lost in this. They really are trying to build something.
They've lost billions of dollars.
Yeah, but they're losing more money right now with the strait that's shut down in oil than they are with LIV Golf. It doesn't matter. So here's, just in my opinion, wrap a bow on it. I don't know what the announcement is going to be. It may not be a fold. It may be some sort of like, warm embrace crash where they're just sort of like, hey, we're going to absorb this, and we've worked it out, because, even the PGA, while they would love to see LIV crash and burn, they don't really want the guys from LIV to be unmarketable. They don't want it to end up where it comes out like these guys are just like, fuck the tour, and what, they don't want that. So however it works, it's going to be a good try, we welcome competition, we're all better for it, blah, 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 blah. All the players are going to go right back on tour. They're going to revest. They're going to have to revest in tour and, pay some sort of compensation for what they've done. Probably my guess is they're going to have to play a bunch of extended tournaments the PGA Tour wants them to play, but everyone's saying no to.
It's the Koepka model, right? But so the PGA Tour is going to be able to cherry pick the guys that they want, but the guys that they want are going to have to sign up to the terms that the PGA Tour dictates, like Brooks did. But I think that asking price is now going to go up because they had that opportunity to return to the tour in February when Brooks did. They didn't. And PGA Tour is going to have all the leverage on who they want to put back on the tour if LIV does fold.
That's just it, though, right? Because it's Bryson and Rahm and Smith, and that's it, really.
Smith maybe, but the two guys that I would be concerned about if I were on LIV are Hatton and Neiman, right? Because Hatton and Neiman
Joaquin
still
Neiman
has
is
good
a real guy
to play, but they don't have the accolades that Rahm, Bryson, and Cam Smith have, right? Where they've won majors, they've won a Players Championship. So, what happens to Hatton and Neiman where they're like, hey, we jumped ship. We thought LIV was going to be this monster success. And now do they have a path back to the tour if it folds? That'll be interesting.
I think that they do. I think it's like in anything else.
But they didn't based on the parameters that the tour set when Koepka jumped ship. Based on that.
Yeah. But there's a difference when one of the ships sinks.
But the criteria then was if you're a major champion over the last 4 years or if you've won a Players Championship. That's not Neiman or Hatton. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. We will see. What I can tell you is that there's a ton of drama in golf, which means we're talking about it every single day, weekly. Golf Twitter has never been more fun. I think even Golf WRX has a new site. That's how fun this is. There's a forum. We're like in the 90s, early 2000s again. I'm loving it. And that's what I mentioned at the top of the show. Kisner, this has never happened in golf, really, where we have, nonstop conversation going on that is not just, it's like on ESPN, not that ESPN matters anymore, but the fact that golf is on the homepage is insane to me because it's been so long. Kisner, just keep going down the list here. Kisner goes to scorched earth on CBS. He tells this whole story. Golf Twitter is now, I don't know, it's probably fake, but there's a conspiracy theory now that a bunch of the camera guys tried to sell Masters passes and they got shit canned before the Masters, and so that's why they were shorthanded, and that's why everyone's praising the crew. They did so good, but it didn't make any sense. We talked about it, I think, long enough on our recap, but what you really are getting at is the 18th hole disaster, shot by shot. It doesn't make sense. Young second shot. Roy, you talked about it. Nantz, this to me just sums it up. Nantz goes on the Pat McAfee show, right? And which is insane on its own right. Just that is its own story. And he basically says it's live television. We all make mistakes. I'm really proud of the crew. And he has not asked about Kisner's comments specifically, and he just sort of ignored it. And it's we're going to let crazy Kisner, say his piece and go, even though he's right. Nantz has to toe the line. That's the classy thing that he would always do. But there's no golf media to take the anchor on this. Yes, Kisner went on the Barstool show Foreplay. That's where it happened. But there's no, face of golf to come out and make a comment. We have the old guard of Nantz and those guys who this is not their style. Nick Faldo, to me, I enjoy him on the Masters. I pretty much find him deplorable elsewhere with the sideburns and all. And I love Faldo, don't get me wrong, like as a golfer, but he belongs on like the Fox NFL set at this point. Like he's Terry Bradshaw. He doesn't do anything for me. And there's like young up-and-comers that I fuck his name over, Johnson Wagner. I don't even know who that guy is. I don't watch a shit ton of golf. I mean, I do, but I don't. And to me, I'm bringing this up because we are hitting, speaking of the PGA and why they're going to let these guys from LIV back on and they're not going to screw it up. This is a generational moment for the game of golf. We have never had more young people into the game, and into the game in many ways. The digital creator, like we had Remick on just yesterday, the TGL stuff, the YGL, which is a thing that the Horvath guys and Wesley brothers are doing. Just in general, the Golf Sim Club. By the way, I locked number 2 in our golf league this year. I'm pretty proud of that. We won by 6 strokes on the last round to lock that shit in. So go me and Matt Staff, my playing partner.
I thought you might be first since I think you lived there.
We got cooked. The first team is way better than me, and I have no shame in admitting I played for second, and I'm proud to do so. But the point is, we had like 45 guys in this tournament, and that's just a random ass weekly league, and it's everywhere. You're in one too. These things are everywhere. So like the interest has never been higher. We have companies like Malbon, Alma Mater. We were supposed to have the Alma Mater CEO Eric on the show in the next couple of weeks to talk about this, even more. There's a style to the game. One of the things with Anthony Kim, other than his journey, that's so cool is the dude always had swagger and style. But when he played in 08, he couldn't do the shit he does now. He couldn't walk the way he does and dress the way he does like that. It's cool now. And I feel like the thing that's missing is the media, who is the voice of our generation? Nantz and those guys were the voice of Tiger. They're the voice of you and I's generation as kids growing up, but they're not the voice of the new generation of golfer. We have more talented young stallions coming up, whether they're on LIV or PGA, or even Howell, who's like fucking 15 years old. There are more studs coming up than ever before. Tiger, whatever the hell happened is whatever. He's still going to be around. He's not that old. He's still going to be kind of floating around TGL. You're going to get the old, he's the Charles Barkley of the crew, rolling around, still telling stories. Like Rory's 36 or whatever. Like he's got years. We have got a decade of unbelievable dominant golf, and we've got no voice to cover it. We've got a confusing angle where it's like the young ones want to shit on the old guard CBS like myself. And I'm asking you this, Joe, who is the up-and-coming person? And if we learned anything from the Pat McAfee and the TBPN and a handful of these other groups, is Podcaster, hopefully it's us because our show's great, is Podcaster to Broadcaster the new ramp? Because it feels to me that in non-golf, non-sports, the podcaster has replaced the late night host. And I'm wondering if one of the things that we need to do in golf is to get more guys like us, guys like Remick, guys like the Horvath guys. And I know that being a media personality is not the same thing as being a digital golf creator. They're different. This is a different skill set that we possess. But I think that we've got to find a common place where the media talent around golf is legit and it's embraced. The PGA needs to embrace the young us type of people to come on these shows and to be on it, not chase the Kelsey and the Tevin Smart and all these. That's bullshit. They need to get the real dudes. And I feel like we have a very, very, very important moment. And right now, today, yesterday and Sunday, we did not have Jim Nantz on his game. We did not have David Feherty. He's too old and he's on LIV or whatever. Faxon and Azinger or whatever. I don't care. Faldo, he's Terry Bradshaw. What's the next CBS? What is the next act? Because we need it, and we need it now. Rant over.
It's a good rant. I mean, I know we talked Nantz going on McAfee. Listen, McAfee's a generational talent, and he was able to, he went from, the funny punter on the Colts to Barstool, and people thought he was crazy when he retired early from the NFL and walked away for millions to go to Barstool, and Barstool was a great launching pad for him, and now he's just a mega star, but he's not he's not specific to golf, and he's not going to be the voice of golf. Like he'll chime in when it's a big tournament, but like, you know, he's an NFL and he's a college football guy. It's a good question. I mean, like I personally like Trevor Immelman. I know he's older, but like he's been sitting in that lead tower with Nantz, and he's the lead analyst. Like I think naturally he could have an opportunity to move over to the
He's
lead.
no Iron Eagle though. We need an Iron Eagle. We need a guy who is like a golfer's golfer. I need a Breen, a bang bang. I need somebody to come in who's like has control.
He's a little reserved, right? I do like his voice though, because if you're looking to nap during a tour event, man, his voice puts you right to sleep. But probably not what you're looking for from an.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's one of the attributes that we need for this. I'm not saying that he doesn't work here.
The guy I like a lot that's younger is Smiley Kaufman, right? Like he has really become like a buddy.
Second
star.
Smiley Kaufman drop in 3 shows. Way to go, Smiley's got he didn't do much on the PGA Tour, but him getting in the last group when Jordan Spieth, torpedoed himself from being a back-to-back Masters champion. I don't know. It lives on for me. No, I like it.
I remember that day, but he's been the on-course guy, but he's younger, right? He's got the connection to Spieth, Ricky, kind of that younger generation. He's been within the ropes, but he hasn't had a ton of success. I think he could bring a level of excitement. Colt Knost is entertaining. As you said,
he's extraordinarily irritating. I don't think you're underplaying that. I like literally turn the shit off when I see him.
Why are you hating on Colt?
I just don't like it. I don't like the shtick. It's obvious.
And then Johnson Wagner, they're trying to force that down us, right? Because he's, his gimmick was recreating the shot, like the famous shots of the tournament that they just covered, and he's the guy that's played on the PGA Tour and yet can hit some really bad shots, so he relates to us. But yeah, I think there's a void.
By the way, I don't have a problem with Johnson Wagner in that regard, right? Like every good show needs one of them. Like so he's on. But don't try to push him to the center for me. Like, that's the part. And I love Smiley Kaufman because that's basically what, like, my version of Nota Begay. He's our Nota Begay. Yeah. Right? Like, that's basically what we have. And he's great. So, okay, we got our Nota Begay. We got our player on the course guy, which is like basically Dottie Pepper. We've got, the person who's in the booth who's calm and he's doing play-by-play and he's not missing. He's like, we've got a short putt, 3 feet. It's going to break left. Like, you've got that guy. Now I need the person who's like, I play golf. I get fucked up with these guys. I travel with them. I got stories for days. Can't tell you names. Was a good golfer, not a great golfer. And I'm on this and I'm a media star. I'm obsessive. I was a videotape guy. You know what I mean? Like that guy who played with one of these studs in college, tried really hard to make it on tour, did Q school, did all that, started a fucking newsletter or something. And, next thing you know, they're on Fried Egg talking about the course, and somebody puts them on mainstream TV and they say something crazy, and voila, you've got a star. And maybe that's us. But bottom line is we need that. Yeah. We need it. The golf world needs it because it's very...
wild card guy is at this point, right? And maybe it's to come. I don't think any of the YouTubers, right, that have had a ton of success, I don't think they lend themselves to that. I mean, from an entertaining standpoint, that's Robbie Berger, right? But he doesn't have the golf chops. He's more just got the entertainment value. Another guy I really like, just from the Masters, I don't know if you know him, Shane Bacon. That guy, I think he's our age, very entertaining. He was unbelievably good on. He was like the lead anchor for the featured groups, and he was awesome. I don't know if he's got the entertainment value, but younger guy, early 40s, that is obsessed with the game and has clearly got some good media chops.
Well, that's the key. And I think one of the biggest things, and we'll put a bow on this too, the biggest thing is the PGA's got to embrace it. I know the Masters is different because it really isn't, like Remick yesterday said it well, like it's a hoity-toity event. It needs to stay that way. So I'm not pushing it for the Masters. But in general, the PGA has to embrace that there is this universe of podcasts, which is a ton of talent. There are golf creators. I don't think that what you do on a YouTube video necessarily translates to doing play-by-play and being exciting. You have to have a certain skill set in the media sense, but you also have to have timing for the moment. and like be able to do it. And there's every major sport has that person you immediately think of. And the key in my mind, baseball is a great example of this. One of the reasons that things start to kind of go away for a generation for a while is it doesn't have a narrator. We don't have a narrator. And we're going to be losing, Vin was our narrator. We're losing those guys. And the new generation plays differently, so we need a new narrator, but that narrator's got to sound more like what that generation sounds like, or it's going to be lost, and I don't want to see this opportunity lost. So enough of listeners having to hear me bitch about media stuff in golf. It's obviously a passion. Let's switch over to why we're here.
I feel like that was your job interview to become the voice of golf for the next generation. I like it. Yeah.
Hire me. I'm here. I'm ready. Take me up. All right. We're going to switch over to RBC, do a little handicap action here. We don't need a local insider. You are a local insider. You played the course. So why don't we start there? Why don't we talk about the course, what you remember? I don't know if you remember anything. Yeah. That's kind of the way we play. Let me know what you remember about the course. I want to talk about the field. I've made some picks. I've got the kind of, what do you want to call it? I got the who probably will win, who's probably should win, and then who I'm rooting for, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so the course, I mean, it's a resort course. It's shorter than normal PGA Tour courses. Like I think it's under 7,200 yards. First 15 holes, like really, really tight fairways, like true like resort course where you've got like condominiums to the left or to your right, trees. It's a challenging driving course, at least for like a normal guy like me, because you can't really spray it, but I think the pros are going to eat it up. And it's much more, like we talked about Augusta, it's much more approach kind of around the green game than driving game, just due to the short distance. They're probably laying up on some holes and looking more about where they want to be from a location standpoint versus blasting a drive 300 plus yards. The thing I do remember about that course, though, holes 16 through 18, like one of the better finishing stretches that we see on the PGA Tour all year, because you go from these really tight holes to like all of a sudden 16, it opens up. You've got a strategically placed tree like in the middle of the fairway that I remember our caddy told me and my brother-in-law, because he had seen me hit for 15 holes. He's like, hey, don't even worry about that tree that's out there. And I proceed to hit my best drive of the day, and I'm blocked from the tree. So I just gave my caddy shit for the last 3 holes. I'm like, oh, I didn't have to worry about that tree. But 16 is a great par 4. 17 is a great par 3 with the wind. You've got the water right there, like anywhere from 190 to 200 yards. Really small green. There's trouble with the water. There's trouble with sand. That's a really tough par 3. And then 18 is an iconic finishing hole. You've got the water on the left. You've got out of bounds and trees on the right. But it's the widest fairway that they're going to see all day. It's 90 yards wide. So if you hit a good drive, you've got a chance to make that a scoreable hole. But like everything on Harbour Town with Pete Dye, very small green. So it's a small target to hit into. But you've got that iconic lighthouse that's behind 18. And we've seen some really good finishes there over the last couple of years. We've seen a couple playoffs happen here, and we've had some pretty
3 out of the last 4. 3 out of the last 4 is a playoff, and
big like superstars winning here too, right? You've had Spieth, you've had Thomas,
Scheffler,
Patrick, Scheffler. Like it's kind of turned into, because it's a signature event, you still get the big names coming, even though it's the week after the Masters. So you would think that there was a Masters hangover, but this tournament just seems to always deliver. And then you get that really ugly plaid jacket to wear once you win it.
Right. Well, this is the one I think that the guys who came up really, really close in the Masters but didn't blow it, they just didn't win it. This is where they come and like shake that shit off, have a good time. You keep talking about how small the greens are. They're the smallest greens on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
So like massive. But again, coming off of Augusta, these guys probably are fairly primed for it. The driving situation, other than the dog legs and the water, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be, if it's windy or not. If it's super windy, it could be a problem. But they don't have a single par 4 over 480 yards. All the par 3s are long. Doesn't really matter for most of these guys. They couldn't even make par on 150 yards at the Masters, so what's 190? And 3 par 5s. are reachable for pretty much everyone in the field. So it is going to be, like we talked about the Masters, it's an approach shot tournament. These guys gotta make drives in good positions for approach, not about the distance. If you're a decent putter and you can chip well and handle yourself on a small green, that's your advantage. So like, hey, let's take a little look here. Who won the last 4? You said it. Thomas, Scheffler, Fitzpatrick, Spieth. What are they known for? Handling around the green, making shots where they need to make them. Some of them are known for blowing up holes too, but that's, neither here nor there. Even if you go way back, not that way back, but 21 and 20. I mean, it's Stewart Cink and Webb Simpson. You're still looking at guys who are known specifically for that kind of play. So to me, when I'm looking at how I'm handicapping and looking at picks in particular, true strokes gained from approach has to be number 1. Probably number 1, number 2, and 3. True strokes tee to green, probably number 2 if you wanted to put it in there. I think driving accuracy matters, but only so much as like you're not spraying the shit everywhere. Like as long as you're, within an approach, even if I would say if you're not in the fairway a lot, that might be a problem. The distance isn't the issue, but if you're hitting into a tiny, tight green out of the rough,
you're probably not going to be able to hit the small green. So you're going to be looking for shots gained around the green, right? Who are the guys that, if they have an errant approach, who can get it up and down for par and then, take advantage of the birdie holes when they can. So you're just trying to avoid, those doubles or bogeys or doubles when you get out of position and you're not.
Right, 100%. Well, I'll tell you this. This is going to be like tournament 5 in a row where the TaylorMade QI4 3-wood is going to be in the bag of the winner, because I just think that it's going to be a matter of either you're driving your brains out and you're just in perfect opportunity to win, or you've made the smart decision to put the ball where you need it. And as long as you can hit in on the fairway, onto the green from there, I think you will do well. One mistake that we talked about very clearly yesterday that we are not going to make today, and it applies to this course the same as it does the Masters, not quite as important, but it does work the same way as course history. This is another one where if you've not made the cuts on a regular, almost every one of these winners before winning had a top 20 and a top 10 consecutive years before winning. Almost none. I think there's one out of the last 8 years as someone who came in here and won, having never really performed well here or was not notable. So this is a course that you've played before, that you have done well on before. Your game is, you're not coming off of a shit show at the Masters to play in this. So I think the field is very open. If you want to just make a joke and call it, Scottie Scheffler probably wins this tournament. Like, he took second. He was surging. He was playing really well. He's won here before. He's comfortable. Like, that's not my pick. But if you look at everything that we just said, that's basically Scottie Scheffler coming into this week. I don't know.
And he less so this year, but like in his run of terror over the last couple of years, what he's proven that once he's conquered a golf course and he's won at a golf course, he's likely to win there again, right? Because
right.
He knows it. He clearly suits his game. He's comfortable with it. I like your model top target though, if you want to jump into that. I like who you highlight.
For which one are we talking for top target?
Your Henley call out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at my screen here. I got a couple of them. I bet on everybody. Yeah, I think that Russell Henley is the very clear, if not Scottie Scheffler. It's a good, he's getting good odds, I think, plus 1,600 to 1,800, depending on where you're playing. He did very well at the Masters. He has all of the, shots gained approach plus 2 per round, 50. I mean, he just, in general, he matches up with the 5 things we just listed a second ago. Plus, he's coming off of basically a near, he doesn't win tournaments. That's my only knock. That's the one thing is he's not a tournament winner generally.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
for his game.
That's not he's a guy that if you showed up in the top 5 or top 10, which I actually think he has pretty much done in the last seven tournaments, I feel like he will be there, and you wouldn't be surprised by it. That would actually be my pick for money. Would be Russell Henley, and the only knock is that I think Scottie Scheffler could come out here and just kick everyone's ass and go home and play with his kids. But if not Scheffler, my minus Scheffler pick of the week will absolutely be Russell Henley. It was my one and done pick this week, Russell Henley.
That's a good pick, right? And if you look at total strokes gained at Harbour Town over the last 10 years, 2 of those top 10 players are Scheffler and Henley, right? So clearly they're their shots gained there, the data's there. I mean, you've also got Cantlay, which I just refuse to bet on him to win a golf tournament. Like, he's so unenjoyable to have a ticket on. He's one of the most frustrating golfers. I'd stay away from him. A long shot that I like that you highlighted as well, Daniel Berger, who's going under the radar.
Yes.
He is top 10. He is top 10 players in course history as it relates to strokes gained at Harbour Town over the last 10 tournaments held there. He played good enough to win at Arnold Palmer, right? Like, he almost went wire to wire. He just got caught by, Akshay just playing out of his mind that Sunday. But he didn't give that golf tournament away. It was almost like Akshay just won it. And he missed the cut at the Masters, I believe, right, Berger?
Yep.
So I kind of I like when guys weren't in that pressure of the Masters weekend where, like, they got the reps at Augusta, but, they took the weekend off to hone in on whatever went wrong on Thursday and Friday, coming a little bit fresher to Harbour Town. So I think Berger at, anywhere from 90 to 100 to 1, that's worth looking at.
I want to double down on that real quick and add Jordan Spieth to the mix. I want Spieth to play well. He's not the same guy. I'm good with it. There are folks calling this Spieth Town this week in hopes of getting him to get excited. He did finish T12 at the Masters. His game is generally pretty good, fifth in shots gained and approach. This is the part that and I'll probably be wrong, right? Like, this is where I'm going to give you receipts. The thing that I would change about what we did with the Masters recap or handicap in the first place was we got a little bit too hard on the tech. And everything has to be like, if you take, how do I find first place in all 5 categories I care about, and that's the winner? And to me,
if that was the thing, Scott, if all you had to do was take, like, cherry pick data on shots gained, approach, and around the green, like, you'd pick a winner every week, right?
Obviously there's more that goes into that than just that, but there's this part where it's the eyeball test, and I'll sound like the old man and yelling out the door. There is something to be said for, like, what your freaking eyes tell you. And Jordan Spieth looks like he's talking like someone who's finally a little comfortable in his skin. He's won here before, checks the box of, like, hey, plays well where he wins. This course, like Masters, takes the players who play well where they've won. He has all of the attributes that work. If his putter's a disaster, he's not going to win. He'll probably place in the top 10, but he's not going to win. If he's making a handful of putts, he doesn't even have to putt out of his mind. He's so good from approach, he doesn't have to putt out of his mind because his putts are 10 feet. That's the difference. So long as he doesn't, like, 3-putt or have the yips, he's in it. Same thing with Berger. Berger checks all the boxes-ish. He has some driver accuracy things where he's 27 or 30 on tour. He's good, not great. He's not elite, he's really good. His approach, very, very good over the last 3 months. Historically, is he hot or is he just a better player? I don't know. He fits all the things where if he is on his game, he possesses the tools in the bag to win this, no question, doesn't matter who he plays against. If 1 or 2 of those tools is not playing, he will not win. Unlike Spieth, I don't think he even places well. So when I'm going through this list, I'm looking at guys who I think if everything they have is playing pretty well, they can win it. If they're missing something, they can place. And the guys who are missing one thing, they can't even place, really. I'm kind of cutting them out of my bets. They're long shot to me because it's very difficult to have all your shit working at the same time. But that is how you win tournaments.
What we think about what has me very bullish on Spieth, other than it's Spieth Town and he's won here, what he said after Augusta, which we talked about earlier this week. He said it's the best he's ever hit it at Augusta. This is coming from a guy that has won Augusta. He's finished in the top 5 before. Like, that guy telling us he's hitting it better than he was when he won. All you're looking for is a hot week with the putter at that point in time. And that's why it's gambling, right? Because you never really know when a tour player is going to have that hot week with the putter. But if you know he's got all of the other attributes and you're just taking on a flyer to say, hey, maybe this is the week that the greens fit his eyes, right? And he's reading it and rolling it and holing it. Great bet.
Who's your surprise? Because I don't think those guys are really surprises.
I got a massive surprise. Massive.
Let's go.
I just got never won on tour, but he's one of my favorite tour players, one of the best putters in the world, Denny McCarthy. So
Yeah.
smaller, shorter course, which we've already talked about.
It's fine. Good for him.
Right? Great for him. Great at approach. One of the best putters in the world. I think Sam Burns has that title right now, but like Sam Burns was a little iffy with the flat stick over the weekend at Augusta. Denny McCarthy is going off. I got him yesterday on FanDuel at 225 to 1. I checked before we jumped on to our podcast. It's at 175 to 1 now on FanDuel. Probably similar odds on DraftKings, maybe 165, 150. But like, to get one of the best players in the world or best putters in the world on a shorter tour course where shots gained around the green is going to be the key metric here, Denny McCarthy is 100% worth taking a flyer on. He's had some good showings earlier this year, like top 10 at Houston, which is a course that he doesn't usually play all that well at, which when a player plays well at a course that historically he hasn't done well with, that tells me he's trending up, right? So I think that there's enough metrics there. He didn't play at Augusta, so he's got some, he's got a little bit of break there. I love taking a flyer on Denny. Obviously, if he was the favorite, he wouldn't be 225 to 1. But if you're looking to, put some beer money on someone, I'd put it on Denny, and maybe we're cashing a couple $1,000 on Sunday with it.
If we do that, we're starting our wedge fund. I'm excited about it. Gonna have a little wedge fund.
Agreed.
All right, so who is your official pick of the week then? We're gonna lock it in one and done. You did Justin Rose last week. My job here is to try to convince you to pick somebody that I like, but you pick. You're our master picker.
My one, yeah. So Denny McCarthy's not my one and done. I'm gonna do. I think you've convinced me on Jordan Spieth, and then once you got me talking about him with the comment that he made about how well he hit it around Augusta, I love him as a one and done this week.
Jordan Spieth, lock it in. Joe, I'm excited to watch this. I know that there's a select few golfers who are so golf sicko that they watch everything, and this is going to be like, I'm as excited about waking up tomorrow and turning on this as I am really any other tournament. The cool thing is that now we have a pod for it.
Tips for the dads out there: you're probably not going to get away with just like parking in front of the TV on the couch all day Saturday or Sunday. But I love just having some money on a couple guys, and then you've got the PGA Tour app. So like when you're running around with your kids at all different activities that they've got on Saturday and Sunday, you're just hopping on that app and you're tracking them, right? Like you've got some juice, even though you're not watching it live. Like you're tracking how they're trending. You're getting to see like, all right, they're in the fairway. They're 120 yards out. This is a birdie opportunity. Like I still get the juice from not even watching if I'm just actually shot tracking the guys that I've got money on. So a little bit of tip where you can still follow the golf sweat without having to be in front of a TV for 5 hours.
It's very responsible of you as a dad and a husband. I'm going to talk to the other golf sickos on this that are fucking degenerates like me who just cannot. I can't read, man. That's not my game. I watch and listen. I'm a podcaster. I listen. Here's a tip. If you pay for premium YouTube, whether it's YouTube TV 4K or YouTube Premium, you could actually go to it and then slide it off your screen and hit the power and not have the screen playing and listen to it. I don't believe that's accessible for everybody.
That's a genius move. I like that a lot.
So I go on YouTube TV. I will find Harbour Town Tournament, RBC Heritage. I'll hit play. I'll put this little puppy in. This one's always free. That's mom and dad. That's Scott. I put the shit in. Yeah, I'm going to go. We have soccer in the morning, Saturday. Vivi's in softball, so she's got a parade. So we're going to do that. I'll be listening. I got to go grocery shopping because I'm a good husband and I want to get some of that, good stuff on Sunday. And, I have this on the whole time. And I think that you can listen to it and you just learn. You can do both and gamble. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm going to adopt that one too.
They need this to become skin colored though. So, or like maybe I'll just tell Jen that I'm hard of hearing, I got to get a hearing aid and I'll just snip the tip of this thing off, circumcise my AirPods so I can listen to golf.
Hey, anything for the love of the game, man. The love of golf and the love of golf. Man.
I love it. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time. Everyone listening, thank you. We'd appreciate you going to YouTube and find us at No Strokes on YouTube. Give it a like, give it a subscription, a little follow. Follow us on all the social medias. I'm at Katoon. You can find at Venmo Joe. You can find at No Strokes Pod everywhere. It's been a blast. It's only episode 3, and there's, oh my God, there's so much to come. This season's going to rock. Thank you, Joe.
Cooking. See you, Scotty.